as you submit the show or as you hit that next sales level. So it's up to you how much you do as you go on, but really shows are the basis of our business. It's where we meet new people. And so it's always something that we'll do. But it does, what's nice at the executive level is you have to have less points like for trips. So it's not like they're expecting quite as many shows, but the more you do, the more successful you're going to be. Good question, I like it. All right, Candace, you think of another one?
Okay, well, yeah, I had, okay, so you're retiring, so you already answered the whole first part of that.
Okay.
Which is like random. So, okay. so when you retire, so like what happens? So you just decide, okay, well, I guess I have a couple questions. I'll just ask one, and if nobody asks the other ones, I'll ask.
Hey, I got a lot of tickets. You're all good.
Well, I don't want to, like, if somebody else had the question, I don't want it to be. So, like, when you retire, like, what happens? Like, are you going to, you just don't get commission anymore, you're just done?
You get
it's
retired.
Just done.
So what's really cool with Pampered Chef is, and I can tell you lots of stories, 21 years, it's been an amazing life for me. So because of this income, because of the opportunity, recently, so I've paid over the last, let's see, my oldest is 16, he's in 11th grade. So when he started in preschool, I started paying private school tuition. We tried regular kindergarten, and he just it just wasn't good. He didn't raise his hand for 3 months.
Oh, I've never seen that face on you.
It was so sad. I was a teacher, and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't do anything. It's your kid. So for us, that just wasn't the right place for him. So we looked around and we decided for him, private school is a good choice. So Pampered Chef has allowed me to pay his private school tuition, and then of course his brother comes along, and so you just keep him going on that path, right? So the other one too. So over the last 12 years now for my oldest, and now for the other, I've been able to do that. I've paid our house payment, which now we live in our dream home. I wanted a brick house, and it's on open space. So we've got the Rocky Mountains every night, the sun going down in our backyard. It is the most amazing thing in the whole world. So because of Pampered Chef, I've been able to enjoy all of that, be home with my kids as I'm working. And so because of the amazing income as well, I'm now at a place where I can retire and just say thank you. And I want to hear what's happening with all of you as we move forward. But yeah, so it's been incredible. Tons and tons of trips. But at this point, I'm retiring and hanging up my apron and allowing you guys to keep doing whatever you want to do for however long you want to do it, and have Barb support you. But this will be my farewell.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask my second question?
Of course, don't forget.
Okay, I just want to, okay, so then, I don't know if this is inappropriate to ask.
No,
it's not a sex
you're fine.
question, but okay, so how much, I mean, can I ask
Yes.
how much money you make, like,
Yes.
when you're not, okay,
Yes.
just not doing as many shows?
I'm
or-
glad it's not a sex question. I'm just saying.
No,
But
that's
you
a
did
great
take my question.
Oh, did
So-
I take, okay, sorry.
It's all
Sorry,
right.
I took her.
No, you can ask it. I'll come up with another.
You can ask me what the coolest thing I did with my biggest paycheck was.
All right.
Did you have another question?
I
too?
do.
Okay, don't forget it.
I will.
Okay, all right. So it's funny because Kirsten was sitting here, who's Stacy's second daughter, and she said, "Well, what did she say? How did she ask that about 6 figures?"
Oh, yeah.
She's like, "So is it possible to make 6 figures?" And I'm like, "Well, at this level, yes." So in the little I forget what the current book is, but it has a little graph in it about the income levels. So those are real. So when you look at those income levels, that will show you on average what does a director make, on average what does an advanced director make. So my top income was $96,000, I think, in a year, and like I said, that's been amazing. So for us and our family, it's provided more than what we've needed. But I think Rondi has a question.
What is the coolest thing you did with your biggest check?
Okay, so November of 2011, and we're very, you're responsible with our money, right? You got to plan, and you pay the tuition, you pay the house pay, like that's what we do. So I was back in, so it would have been October, as I'm like getting close to the end of the month and realizing, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like crazy. This is gonna be like a crazy check. And I said to my husband, what if we did something really, really irresponsible? And he's like, what? I'm like, what if I just bought my dream car? Just bought it. So my dream car, 66 Mustang, purple. And my said, that's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. And I just said, it's royal blue-ish purple, Rockies, Colorado Rockies. So anyway, we just kind of left it there. I'm like, well, just, I don't know, think about it. I don't know. It is crazy. The next morning, he woke up and he looked at me. He's like, buy your car. So I just sold the car because I have a 16-year-old and we had to get another car and blah, blah, blah. But I have to tell you, that was just the most amazing dream to like see it play out. And one of the things we talk about is having a vision board, knowing what you want, focusing on the specifics. And that is one of those things. One of the gals from the home office that was coaching me at the time, she's like, well, what color Mustang? Well, what year? I don't know, an old one. You know, so like I pinned down the royal blue and then this car came up. My husband's actually the one that found it. He's like, look. And that was when I said, hey, let's do something really crazy. So crazy things like that are just possible when you're not limited by a specific income or an hourly or anything else. And when you love what you do and you want to help others to do it too. Yes.
You said that you were a teacher. When did you decide that teaching was not for you, but you stopped teaching?
Good question.
Why are you a teacher, Kelly?
I am a teacher.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I started because I needed money to student teach. How many of you started with a specific money goal? We need $100 a month, or I'm going to use this for, perfect. So I did that, and then I became a teacher, and then I started teaching, and I kept doing Pampered Chef because it was fun, and it was like the fun job, the no stress job. And then when my Pampered Chef check hit the same as my teaching check, I think I had just promoted to senior director, and it was like a lot going on in our lives with both those things happening, and we just decided why not. And so I volunteer a lot now, but I love the trips, the Pampered Chef travel, and so that just swung us to say, let's do it. So at that point, cut back to part-time for like a semester, and then was done. Yeah.
So, what happens, and sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about really, but, so I get like, you start with one person, then two, and then you get to your level and you've got, so what happens to all your people? Does the next person and then everybody just automatically goes under them and they go, thank you. Right on.
Perfect.
I just inherited
it's crazy.
A good business.
So I don't have my little chart to show you, but so when you hang around, I always say the goal in this business is just don't quit. I remember saying that the very first time I met Stacy in Faith's living room years ago. And I'm like, whatever you guys do, don't quit. Just stick it out, hang around, because it's crazy what can happen. My recruiter that I mentioned to you that thought I was crazy when I said I wanted to do this, quit about 2 years after I started. And I just thought for so long, that poor lady. She just would have hung around.
She has no clue the commission she just lost.
And then I thought like
Huge mistake. I'm thinking Pretty Woman right there.
And I want to reach out and say thank you, and I'm like, oh, but is that really mean? Because then, what do you do? But anyway, so don't quit. But a lot of the directors in my that are now my first generation, so like here would be, they're people that have rolled up to me because their recruiter has quit. I was just visiting Annie Parker, who's a director in Grants Pass, Oregon, and her recruiter and her recruiter's recruiter both quit. And so she rolled up to me. Another director in my first generation, Kim, in Las Vegas, actually, and Laura as well. So 3 of my 6 that are in that first generation for me have rolled up. So
where are all your people going to go to?
So good question. So all of you guys are just gonna you're this way from me. How many of you have ever gotten my newsletter or a postcard in the past or anything else? Okay, so that happens when your name's in there, which is really exciting and fun. But it only goes down so many levels, so that's one thing that's kind of a bummer because I don't get to see everybody all the time. But as an executive, you do at conference. This is more than you wanted to know, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. So what's cool though is why I mentioned Barb. So everybody just moves right up, and Barb just kind of steps in. And I have to say, she probably does a lot better than me because I'm a little bit Dory and a little bit squirrel, and she's very organized and businesslike. So that's exciting for me to know. I would not do what I'm doing. I would not retire if I didn't have that person that I knew would step in and do an amazing job. taking
I'm
care
so
of you
glad you
guys.
said your Dory, because it's nice to know
Yeah.
that Dory can make it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it really is one of those.
Just keep
Yeah,
spinning,
if
just
if
keep
I
spinning.
could do this, you could do this 10 times better. What's your question?
2 of them.
Yes. Oh, good.
So,
We have to.
oh, thank you. So, Barbara Duke
Yes.
is a national executive director. But isn't there steps between you as executive director and Barbara?
Yes.
So why do we not roll up to whoever is in that interim person?
Okay, so 2 answers to your question. So when you first asked, it made me think, is there a step between executive and national, which there's senior exec.
Yes.
So that has nothing to do with anything, because it's all about just who your upline is. So, okay, so just making sure I'm clear on what you're asking. So, squirrel.
Basically, no
There-
matter what level Barb is, we would still be under Barb.
Yeah,
Well, yes, we'll still be under Barb, but isn't there?
There's
correct.
no
She's
senior
correct,
exec in
Barb.
between national and
Currently.
her right now, currently.
And it wouldn't matter if there was. So let's say, how's an easy way to say this? I don't know. I can't give you a good example.
Just say wine.
Wine, margarita, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I have not had, actually I did. So, so I just have to share, I don't really drink much, but I was on the airplane.
Oh, and then at my house. I was like,
No, I found your wine.
It's not hard to find the wine at her house. I'm just saying.
I never fly. I always fly Southwest. We always go Southwest. We go Southwest. So I'm sitting on the plane. Alaska. Have you guys flown Alaska? This is what they say. So we'll be serving beverages shortly, and we have coffee. We have what? Apple juice, orange juice, and complimentary wine or beer.
Complimentary.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I had a half a glass, but that was like hours ago. But still, I've never done anything. I don't know.
well.
But
Can't wait to see how this weekend's gonna be.
I was thinking that.
In
I was like,
21
oh,
years.
she's done-
Everything is not all
good.
good
Yeah.
and wonderful and peachy keen.
Yeah.
So in that 21 years, what has been the most frustrating or disappointing part of the business?
I'm getting
And
two
what
tickets.
did you do
Ouch.
to
Debbie Downer.
No,
Yeah.
I was kidding. I was joking. No, that's really a good question because, and I remember, I think I said this at that very first meeting in Face living room as well. If you don't consider quitting at least once a year, I think there's something wrong with you. It's just the nature of the business.
So if you consider it more often than once, what does that mean?
So,
Does that mean I really should get on some more antidepressants?
you know, my best tips to leave you with: don't quit. Consistency and persistency, right? Be consistent with whatever you do and be persistent and push through. But when you do those things, this is a business where you're not limited by anything really, except for what you dream or what you think. So probably the hardest, and this may not even make sense to you, but it's probably the hardest for me. Trips are my passion, totally. That's my deal. And I'll say, like, now I'm to the point, which again, this is crazy. I've traveled so much, like, there's only one place I want to still go, and that's Ireland. That I haven't gone because of Pampered Chef. That they haven't sent me there for free. It's
Oh,
crazy.
rough life.
Crazy. Oh gosh, I am having the worst time with my squirrels.
I might have
The
be.
worst thing that happened.
I might be a part of that.
How many times? Okay, so there will be times. I mean, it's not easy to work for yourself. It's not easy to be self-motivated. The blessing is you have lots of people around you. So the hardest time I think for me was I was home full-time doing Pampered Chef before we had kids because I transitioned out of teaching. And they threw out this crazy big trip, Mediterranean cruise. And here's what you do to earn it. And it was different than every trip. So you have to do this, and then you have to do this, and then if you do this, you get this. And so it was a year-long process, and I worked my little hiney off. And somewhere up here in my Doriness, I was convinced that I could take a brand new 1-month-old baby on a Mediterranean cruise with myself and my husband. And my husband the whole time's like, this is not going to happen. Oh, yes, it is. We're going to do it. And, of course, I earned it. And then I remember sobbing on the phone with the person at the home office because you couldn't take babies and there's no way I was going to leave this baby. And it was just because of the type of cruise and the place and everything else.
Why wouldn't you leave the baby?
Yeah. That's what I said. And my husband's like,
You're not doing this.
Me, whose mother is only previous to a 2-year-old.
No, I know. I was on that phone call. Let me tell you, I remember.